Hello hobbyists, good day to all of you, and welcome back to Hobby TV. By the way, this time we will discuss about mistakes on guppy fish keeping. But before anything else, if you're new here, please consider subscribing so you won't miss out any of our videos. And please watch this video till the end so you won't miss important advices for guppy fish keeping that you didn't know yet. So let's get into the video. Accidental poisoning. A tank in a living room can be surrounded by hazards. Minimize the risk to your fish by knowing the chemicals that can be toxic to your fish. Today, somewhere in the world, someone will be looking at a tank full of dead guppy fish and scratching their head, unable to ascertain why. It might be something catastrophic that's happened in the tank. A crash of the filter, or the result of the stock, or overzealous heater. A lot of mysterious deaths are never solved because hobbyists focus solely on what's going on in the tank and not what's happening around it. The problem is, if you were not aware of the outside influences that can cause wipeouts, then now's the time to learn. Noise pollution. Not the obvious problem that people imagine it to be, but sound can cause acute or chronic stress in fish, weakening their immune system and leaving them wide open to infection. In extreme cases, a sudden loud noise can be enough to shock a fish into an abrupt and immediate death. Anything that impacts against a tank has the power to kill. Fish partially detect the world around them through the lateral line system, a sensory accessory that lets them detect the tiniest of changes in water pressure. Subjecting them to a sudden shock, like a slap against the glass, is the fishy equivalent of me firing a shotgun right by a person's head. And also, did you know that children are among the worst culprits for a tank? Yes, that's a fact. So if you're living with children, you better watch them. Alright. Incorrect use of treatments. Sometimes we cannot spot many ailments and diagnosis can be shaky at best. So if you're not sure, don't just reach the medication as a matter of course. The more you use a medication, the less effective it will be, like using too much antibacterial or salt on your sick guppy fish, and possible you may lead killing your fish. Find someone who knows about the disease. Listen to the professional advice and recommendations and dose accordingly. Mixing incompatible fish. If you're a newcomer to fish keeping, you can be forgiven for thinking that all fish are friendly and can live in harmony with each other. You will soon realize this is not the case, especially for guppy fish. This is why when you are buying fish for your guppy fish aquarium, you should always check their compatibility. Some fish are so aggressive that you can't even have them with your guppies, like cichlids, barbs, and even other bigger fish. Not only are some fish just incompatible because of aggression, they may also be incompatible because of the environments they need to live in. Using the wrong substrate. When choosing the gravel for your new tank, you may have the impulse to choose brightly colored pebbles that will make your aquarium look interesting. But in fact, this is not a good idea, as some of these pebbles contain artificial dyes that may be harmful to your fish. Try to stick with regular pebble colors or aquatic soil that will make your habitat look more environmentally natural. Washing your filter media with tap water. This is a very common with newbie. The filter media harbors beneficial bacteria, or should I say beneficial because they convert harmful fish waste into less toxic forms. Yet chlorine and chloramine are put into tap water by water authorities in your area to kill bacteria in the water. So clean your filter media, but clean it in old tank water at least once a month. Lack of water changes. If there's one bit of advice that we feel more important than anything else in guppy fish keeping, it is to change the water. All owners of the best guppy fish and best aquariums and ponds in the world all change water very often, even when you or would think there would be no need to. Water changes dilute pollutants, but they also wash away hormones and pheromones emitted by our fish in their captive environments. Water changes vapor pH, contribute vital trace elements that deplete over time and help to fight algae. Whether you keep plants and other fish like cichlids, discus, goldfish, or even trout, change the water. Starting a new aquarium and taking on the hobby of aquarium keeping requires work. You can't be lazy when practicing this pastime. It really requires regular weekly water change. Overstocking. When compared with nature, our aquariums are not as big as they may seem. Small bodies of water only hold a small population of fish, and only with artificial filtration and aeration can we break the rules of nature and place more fish into a given space than it would naturally allow. The result is much more colorful, busier, more enjoyable spectacle in our living rooms, but that can also lead to stunted growth, heightened aggression, and diseases. So you need to keep guppy one fish per gallon. Not quarantining. Many ailments can be spotted with the naked eye, and even then a few people are skilled with a microscope to identify and then treat diseases. So in many respects, with our buying our fish blind and placing a newly purchased guppy fish into your community tank from many other sources, I understand that it is so tempting to come home with your new fish and want to introduce them right away to your aquarium. This is not the best thing to do, as you may be introducing diseases into your healthy tank. If you have an established aquarium with a cycle water and happy fish, you will want to keep it this way. The most common reason of this is the cost, extra maintenance, and space needed for the extra tank. Throwing them into a tank full of new mates may make them more agitated and anxious. Stressed fish may not survive in the initial introductions. Another reason to quarantine the new fish is that they may be carrying diseases or even parasites from their previous tanks. You definitely don't want to introduce damaging substances into your healthy water and experience dying fish. Place a newly purchased fish into the separate tank and treat them with stress out or using tetracycline 20 gallons per capsule. Leave for several weeks and monitor their health. Or your fish should preferably be in a quarantine from 2 to 4 weeks before introducing them into your community aquarium in order to take the time to treat them for any diseases that they may be possibly have, and give them time to acclimate at least 15 to 20 minutes before opening the plastic bag. Overfeeding. Without a doubt, overfeeding your guppy fish is the single most common cause of death. It can be tricky for beginners to not overfeed their fish because they always look hungry. And in their natural habitat, fish will spend large periods per day searching for food. Why is overfeeding them so bad? The main reason is because it creates excessive waste. First of all, the uneaten food will stay in the tank and create waste. This excess waste can cause deadly changes in the chemical composition of the water. Surely, you love your fish, and you may love them to death by overfeeding them. Some fish may look like they are constantly hungry, but you're not. The excess food that fish will not eat in feeding will fall to the bottom and decay, and therefore cause toxins in the water, and algae may grow on the glass and decorations. This means more work for your filter, more work for you, and a possible and healthy environment for your fish. You should feed your guppy fish 2 to 3 times a day, or in what they can consume within 5 minutes. Fish need filtration. It is false to think that any body of water in any size doesn't need filtration. The enclosed environment, no matter how big or how small it is, needs to be filtered for toxins and waste material. Fish simply cannot survive in unhealthy water that is polluted with detritus and toxic waste. Adding plants will definitely help the filtration process, as they absorb some types of toxins or release oxygen back into the water. Shopping for the appropriate filter system for your tank is essential. This is not the place to be stingy if you want to keep a healthy tank with happy guppy fish. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully this guide will help you to avoid mistakes on guppy fish keeping. And by the way, I just want to shout out our fellow hobbyists here: Alvin Multicalvo, Prince Guppy, Nerissa Palabrica, Beta Cole, and to all certified hobbyists in the whole world who supported our channel. Thank you guys so much. And if you have any comments, suggestions, and clarifications, or for more video updates, you can visit our FB page at hobbytv.ph, or just click the link below description. And of course, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to get updated on our next video like this one. And please be safe everyone. To God be the glory. Bye bye.